When I decided to start an online business, I thought that all I needed to do was just write some content and put it out there on YouTube, LinkedIn, or any other social media place. And then that's it. And people would read, watch my content, and then flock to me and become my customers. And this kind of naive representation of what content is supposed to be has been with me for the past 3, 4 years. And I didn't really know the difference between the different types of content that you have to write when you start a business online, especially if you want to drive traffic and then if you want to sell some sort of informational product. Over this time, I've written over 700,000 words. I've written posts on LinkedIn. I've written scripts for YouTube videos. I've written uh, product the course outlines and course material for several of my courses. And as I was kind of writing these writing my stuff, I thought about the content as this one big thing. I just got to start writing things. It was until probably about a week ago that I realized that I really need to start to bucket my content writing time into 3 different categories, because there are really 3 different types of content that I have to produce as an online business owner in order to attract clients and then convert them and then deliver value to them. The 3 types of content are the content you need to write to drive traffic, the content you need to write to nurture and convert leads, and finally, the content you need to write in order to deliver value after somebody has purchased something from you, such as a product like a course or a webinar or a service. These 3 types of content are kind of your pillar, your foundation for your business if you have an online business. The first type of content is related to writing to driving traffic from social media to your social media profile, building up an audience. And it includes things like writing posts on LinkedIn or on Facebook, creating reels, creating TikTok videos, creating YouTube videos, and part of the creation of the videos, it's also writing the scripts, writing the outlines. So this type of content is the content that will bring in the readers, the viewers, the audience. And the way you approach writing this content, the way you approach creating this content is a little bit different from the content you will write for nurture and capture and conversion rather, and then for the delivery of the actual product that you're selling. The content that drives traffic, the drive traffic content, will be of 2 categories. One will be either this generic, widely applicable content that will hit the bigger market, will hit the bigger audience, will hit the bigger target market. And that content is for just kind of putting your name out there, showing up on people's radar, kind of being visible everywhere. And then you will have content that's kind of problem-oriented content. And the problem-oriented content is the one that actually will target the audience, target the specific market, target the specific problem that people are experiencing, so that you can then pull them into your own platform, into your own list, and to convert them through the lead magnets into your own universe, as it were. These 2 types of content, you will have to craft them in such a manner that you can hook the audience, deliver the value quickly, and then call to action, so that you kind of bring them into your sphere, bring them off the platform, whatever the platform they were on, and then into your platform, which is your email list. The second type of content is the content that will nurture and then convert the leads in your list and then convert them into your customers. And this type of content is a little bit different from the drive traffic content, because it doesn't have to, first of all, you don't have to target the wide target audience. You don't need to think about these topics that are applicable to all the audiences on whatever platform you're on. You can be super specific, super niche, And the goal of this content is to prove to your lead, the people who came into your email list, they're your leads now. The goal of this content is to prove to your leads that you are an authority on the subject, that you are a thought leader in this particular industry, in the category that you are talking about. So the content you will have to write for this type of content will be problem-solving content, idea generating content, and kind of structured content that will take you from general problems in this category to a specific problem that will be related to the product that you want to sell. So that's the nurture part. So you will write content for that will be delivered to the audience for several days, 10, 15, 20 days, that will nurture, kind of build that trust with the audience, with your leads, that you know what you're doing. And then that content will slowly become a conversion content that will kind of narrow down to a specific problem that your product or service solves. And that way you can bring the people from, it's kind of narrowing the funnel from here down. And the funnel works within outside of the content in the outer area, and it also works inside your list where you kind of narrow down from generic specific problems to specific problems. And that's how you're solving that, nurturing and then converting them into customers. Now, that type of content is kind of specific and requires a lot of thinking, a lot of planning. And the third type of content, which is the content that you deliver as part of your product or service after somebody has already paid for it, is a very specific problem solution type of content that solves a very specific problem or a group of a set of problems that somebody has paid you for. So for example, if you have a course on how to make YouTube videos, the content you will write for that will be very specific to how to make YouTube videos if you're, say, a vlogger or something like that. So that's the third type of content. Now the reason why there's three types of content is because the amount of time that you will have to dedicate to writing, to creating these three types of content. So for the third type of content, which is the one that somebody's already paid for, you will write that content one time and that's it. It'll be ready to go. You'll have it prepackaged as a product or as a service or whatever it is, and it'll be ready to go. You might review it once in a while or do an update every year for that particular product, or maybe you create a new type of content for a new product and then write new content for that new product. But that activity is very like time bound, and it's very short. Once you've done, you're finished, it's finished. Now the second type of content is very similar to that, and then you write once for this particular lead magnet, however you brought them in, and then this specific product, whatever you're trying to sell. So if you add a new lead magnet, you have to write new content for that, new nurture content and new conversion content to either specific problem, specific product that you're selling, or new product that you're trying to sell. And you will also write this once and then maybe write new ones every 2-3 months, depending on whatever your cadence is. And you can also reuse the ending of each nurture sequence. If you're converting to the same product, you want to also like start with a different type of problem and then kind of have the same nurture conversion content towards the end be the same from two different lead magnets. Now, the first type of content is the type of content you will have to create all the time. That means you're constantly creating new content, repurposing existing content, reworking existing content, looking for new ideas, and then just writing and creating and then delivering that, publishing it on the platforms of your choice. The time commitment for each of these has to be 80, 10, 10, meaning 80% of your time will have to be spent on the first type of content, which is the drive traffic content, because that content has to be continually done anew. You have to come up with new content, new ideas, and all of these things. The second type and the third type content, they're very similar. Once you finish it, it's done. And and now it's just working for you. So there's a lot more utility out of the second and the third type of content. So the time allotment for these two content is smaller, a lot smaller than the first one. So if you're thinking about writing content, you're starting a new business and you're thinking about, okay, what kind of content should I do? Where should I focus? Think about these three types of content: the content that drives traffic, content that nurtures and converts leads into customers, and then content that you actually sell, the offer content, the paid for content that you need to deliver to your customers after they've paid. Put them into the three categories. Dedicate 80% of your time to content type 1, which is the drive traffic content, and then 10% to your lead and nurture content, and then 10% to your product content. Write a plan for the week and then split up your time to create that content. Because in the beginning, if you don't have a lead nurture or any of that stuff, or you don't have a product, you don't have a lead magnet, your goal is to just build up an audience on whatever platform that you're on. And then after that, you can start pulling them into your lead magnet. So your goal still has to be 80% content on the platform, the one that drives traffic. And then you slowly create your lead magnet, and then later on you slowly create your offer, and then over 2, 3, 4 months you have everything set up, ready to go, and now you have a lot of content that's already driving traffic and then into lead magnet, converting, and then selling. Okay, so these have been 3 types of content. If you're looking for a roadmap on how to get your first 1,000 leads, check out the link below, download it, and I will see you in the email sequence. Cheers.